Have you ever looked at someone older than you and thought, there's no way they can still do that? Maybe you've heard about someone in their 70s or 80s starting a new hobby, taking up a sport, or doing something adventurous. And if you're being honest with yourself, maybe you've also thought, that sounds great. But it's not really for me anymore. It's common to feel like age brings limits. But what if I told you that age doesn't have to slow you down at all? In fact, it can be the start of your most exciting chapter yet. Take, for example, the story of a man named Jack. Jack is 80 years old, and what's even more remarkable about him is that he didn't let his age define his boundaries. Jack decided that life didn't have to slow down just because he turned 80. In fact, Jack decided to do something that surprised everyone, including his doctor. He went out and started traveling solo around the world. Yes, you read that right. 80 years old and traveling solo. You might be thinking, how is that even possible? Isn't traveling so far away from home, especially as you age, dangerous or too tiring? That's exactly what the doctor said when Jack walked into his office and announced his plan. But the surprise was not just in Jack's decision. It was in the way he was able to maintain his health, his energy, and his sense of purpose despite being well into his 80s. And that's what we're going to explore today. In this video, we're going to break down how Jack's story is more than just inspiring. It's proof that age doesn't limit your ability to live an adventurous and vibrant life. If you've ever felt like your best years are behind you or that certain dreams are just too big for you to pursue at this stage, Jack's story is going to challenge all of that. This is your wake-up call to stop limiting yourself and start thinking about what's possible, no matter your age. So how did Jack go from being a reader with the usual concerns about age to a world traveler at 80? Let's start with the first factor that helped him along his journey, and it's one you can apply to your own life. The first lesson Jack's story teaches us is that staying physically active is crucial to maintaining not only your health but also your freedom. Let me explain. You've probably heard it before. You have to stay active as you age. It's one of those pieces of advice that's repeated so often it can start to sound cliché. But here's the truth. Staying active isn't just about being able to walk up a set of stairs or do some stretches. It's about maintaining your ability to do the things that bring you joy and purpose. When Jack decided to travel the world, his doctor asked him about his physical health. What his doctor didn't expect to hear was that Jack was hiking, walking 5 miles a day, and practicing Tai Chi to keep his balance and flexibility sharp. And while Jack isn't doing marathon races or climbing mountains, the simple act of moving regularly allowed him to have the energy and stamina to navigate the different environments he encountered while traveling. So what does this mean for you? Maybe you've been thinking about your mobility and health in terms of big goals, something extreme like, I need to run a marathon, or I should start lifting heavy weights. But the truth is, you don't need to take on something extreme to see big benefits. What you need is consistency. It could be something as simple as a 20-minute daily walk, or finding a physical activity that suits you. Yoga, swimming, or even gardening. It's about moving your body and staying active in a way that works for you. Doing so doesn't just keep your muscles and joints in good shape. It also keeps your mind sharp, your energy levels up, and your mood elevated. Think about this for a moment. How much more could you enjoy life if you had the energy and vitality to do what you really wanted? Maybe it's traveling like Jack, or it's something else you've always dreamed of doing. Taking a dance class, picking up a new hobby, or even volunteering your time to help others. It's not about running a marathon. It's about staying mobile enough to live your life to the fullest. Jack didn't wake up one day and decide to go travel the world without a plan. He had already laid the foundation by being proactively active. So let this be the reminder. Keeping your body in motion, no matter how small the step, is key to maintaining your independence and freedom, now and in the years ahead. Now that we've talked about the importance of staying physically active, let's move on to the second big lesson from Jack's incredible journey, the power of staying mentally and emotionally engaged in life. As Jack traveled to different countries, he wasn't just sightseeing. He was engaging with people, learning new languages, and experiencing different cultures. And all of this, in turn, kept his mind active. Think about it. Jack didn't let his age become an excuse to stop learning. Instead, he embraced new experiences that kept him intellectually curious and emotionally fulfilled. So, how can you do the same? The key is to constantly seek out things that stimulate your mind and keep you emotionally fulfilled. It could be as simple as learning a new skill, reading about something you've never explored before, or connecting with others who inspire you. Jack's travels allowed him to keep his mind constantly challenged, which is a major reason why he was able to maintain his energy and health. So, here's a question for you. What's something you've always wanted to learn or try, but never did? This could be your moment to start. And no, it's never too late. Jack is a living example that curiosity and learning aren't reserved for younger people. They're for anyone who has a passion for life. Let's take a moment here. What do you think your next step could be? Is it moving more each day, starting a new hobby, or perhaps learning something new? Jack's journey didn't happen overnight, but every small decision he made towards his health, mindset, and adventures brought him to where he is now. Next, we're going to dive deeper into how Jack's story isn't just about physical or mental health, but about challenging societal beliefs about aging, and why this story might be exactly what you need to hear right now. Stay with me, because you won't want to miss how Jack broke through the barriers that many people put up as they age. As we continue with Jack's story, one of the most fascinating aspects of his adventure is not only his physical ability to travel the world at 80, but also his mindset. The way he approached this new chapter of his life reflects something we often forget. Age does not have to be a barrier to continuing to learn, explore, and challenge ourselves. What most people don't understand is that as we age, our minds can also continue to grow if we maintain an open and curious attitude. Jack knew this very well. When he decided to travel the world alone, he didn't do it just to see new places. He did it because his mind was still active, seeking new challenges, new perspectives, and new experiences. Have you ever wondered why many people over 60, 70, and 80 feel limited by their age? The answer lies in our perception. Often, we are the ones who put up barriers. We believe that we can no longer do what we used to do, or that it is too late to learn something new, but Jack proves us wrong. For him, traveling was a way to keep his mind sharp. The simple act of facing new situations, communicating with people from different cultures, and solving the challenges that travel presented kept his brain active and his spirit young. And that is the power of mindset. Instead of seeing his age as an obstacle, Jack chose to see each day as a new opportunity to learn. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that the mind slows down as we age, but scientific studies prove otherwise. The brain is still capable of forming new neural connections, even in old age, if we stay mentally active. The key is to seek out new experiences and do things that challenge us mentally. Throughout his journey, Jack continued to activate those parts of his brain by taking on new challenges, exploring new cultures, and keeping his mind full of curiosity. So how can we follow Jack's example? The answer is simple. Make curiosity and learning part of your daily life. Whether it's traveling, taking a class, learning a new language, or simply reading about a topic you've never considered before. The important thing is to keep your mind active. And this isn't just advice for those who are 60, 70, or 80 years old, but for anyone who wants to continue living a full and active life. No matter how old you are, you can always learn something new. What's more, Jack's mental attitude is reflected in how he dealt with the fears that normally come with age. Society often makes us believe that as we get older, we should start lowering our expectations and live a quieter, risk-free life. This belief creates a cycle of self-limitation. Jack, on the other hand, stepped away from that path and decided to challenge that mindset. He didn't let age dictate how he should live. People often think that traveling alone at 80 is unusual. That's dangerous, they might say, or you're too old for big adventures. But Jack, like you, had dreams, and he didn't let fear or social perceptions about what he should be doing at his age get in his way. He made decisions based on what he wanted to do, not what others thought he could do. And that, believe me, is incredibly powerful. So what can you learn from Jack's attitude? It's simple. Don't let anyone tell you that something is impossible because of your age. Jack was a clear example that no matter how old you are, you have the right and the ability to live your dreams and do what you're passionate about. In fact, some of life's best experiences can happen later in life, when we finally give ourselves permission to be ourselves and pursue what we really want. But it's not just important to have the right mindset, it's also key to have the courage to take action. Jack didn't wait around for the circumstances to be perfect to take his trip. He decided to act despite the doubts he may have had, and that led him to have experiences that many people his age don't even dare to imagine. What I want you to take away from this point is that the key to challenging any mental limitation is to start seeing possibilities instead of limitations. If you've always told yourself that it's too late to travel, learn something new, or do something different, it's time to change that mindset. It's never too late to start, and your journey toward what you want to do begins with a single decision: deciding that you are not limited by age. Now that we've talked about how Jack kept his mind active and how that helped him live such an adventurous and fulfilling life, let's move on to something that probably interests you as well: how Jack's physical and mental health played a key role in his ability to travel in his 80s. And it's not just about getting around, but how staying physically fit is essential for any adventure you want to embark on at any age. Now that we've talked about how Jack broke down mental barriers, let's dive into something that is key to any adventure: physical and mental health. Because while the mind is incredibly powerful, without a body to accompany it, those dreams and adventures can remain just thoughts. Health is the foundation upon which everything else is built, and Jack knew that very well. When Jack decided to embark on his journey around the world at age 80, he didn't do it just because of his sharp mind and desire to explore, but because his body was ready. Staying physically active not only improves our cardiovascular health, but also maintains our energy, endurance, and mobility. Jack didn't reach 80 expecting everything to be easy. He worked on his health every day. At 80, he was fitter than many 50-year-olds thanks to years of consistent habits that kept his body strong. You may be wondering, how can we stay physically active as we age? The answer is that you don't need to make a huge effort. The key is to move regularly and in ways that you enjoy. It's not about running marathons or lifting heavy weights. For many people, gentler, more enjoyable activities such as walking, swimming, yoga, or even dancing can be more than enough to keep the body moving and in good shape. Jack, for example, walked every day, practiced Tai Chi to maintain his balance and flexibility, and occasionally enjoyed longer walks, exploring the landscapes he encountered on his journey. This allowed him to maintain his physical and mental strength, which gave him the freedom to travel the world without his age being an obstacle. The message here is clear. No matter how old you are, you can keep your body active in simple, effective, and enjoyable ways. The important thing is to make physical activity an integral part of your life, not just as a means to an end, but as a daily ritual that brings you vitality. You don't have to be an athlete, but you can be someone who enjoys an active and energetic life. Physical activity also has a positive impact on your mood, helps reduce stress, and improves the quality of your sleep, all of which are essential for maintaining good emotional health. The emotional impact, the freedom to live with purpose. But in addition to maintaining his physical health, Jack also understood something fundamental: the importance of having a purpose in life. Purpose is what gets you up in the morning, what gives you a reason to keep going, even when things get tough. If Jack was able to travel at 80, it wasn't just because of his physical strength, but because he was clear about what he wanted to do and why he wanted to do it. Loneliness, which could have been an emotional burden for many in his situation, was transformed by Jack into an opportunity to find himself and create memories. Instead of fearing the emptiness of being alone, Jack filled it with meaningful experiences. And that's something we can all do. Loneliness doesn't have to be a negative thing. It can be a space where new opportunities, adventures, and connections flourish. But for that to happen, you need to have a clear purpose and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. Jack also began to make connections with other people throughout his journey, not just as a tourist, but as a human being seeking to share moments with others, finding in every conversation a new lesson and a new story. And that, precisely, is what keeps people young at heart: the ability to connect deeply with the world around them and to learn constantly. So how can we also find that purpose, even if we feel like we're in the latter part of our lives? First, you must remember that it's never too late to start something new. Maybe you have a passion you left behind, something you always wanted to learn or experience. Perhaps it's time to start that project you've been putting off. Or maybe what you need is to simply reconnect with what you are truly passionate about. No matter your age, there's always room for something new, something that makes you feel alive and full of purpose. At the end of his journey, Jack returned not only with amazing stories of the places he had visited, but with a renewed sense of freedom, of having done everything he wanted to do, of having lived without barriers. And that is the most important lesson of his story. Live without fear of age, without fear of what others think, and without fear of what you didn't think was possible. It's easy to think that life gets shorter with age, that our best opportunities are behind us. But what Jack teaches us is that at any age, you can continue to live with passion, purpose, and freedom. It's your turn to take control of what you have left to live and start taking those small steps that will lead you to what you've always dreamed of. If Jack could do it, so can you. If this story has inspired you, subscribe to the channel for more stories about how to continue living a full life after 60. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that it's never too late to start. And of course, leave a comment about what you would like to achieve in your life, because it's your time to live without limits. Remember, life has no expiration date. Every day is a new opportunity to live the life you want. Here and now, at any age, freedom is yours for the taking. When we think of 80 years old, many believe that we have already lived the best, but Jack proves otherwise. At 80, he decided to take control of his life, travel the world alone, and break all the stereotypes about old age. Traveling at 80 not only gave him new experiences, but also made him an example for those who think it's too late to do what they love. Jack not only broke the physical barriers of old age, but also challenged the common mindset that as we get older, we should stay home and avoid new adventures. His story reminds us that there is always an opportunity to follow our dreams, no matter our age. This video is for those who believe that age is an obstacle. If Jack can do it, so can you. Discover how staying active, curious, and positive can be the key to living a life full of adventure and purpose, even after 60. When we think of older people, we often associate them with a quieter life, often limited by the physical or social barriers of old age. We are taught that as we age, we should relax and spend our time enjoying life without major changes. But what if I told you that all of that is just a perception? Jack, an 80-year-old man, challenged all of those beliefs and lived his life the way he always dreamed. Despite his age, Jack's life was far from quiet and sedentary. Over the years, life had taken him down countless paths, but as he turned 80, something changed inside him. He decided that there was no longer any reason to wait, that his dreams should not be relegated to an uncertain future. At 80, Jack began traveling the world alone, an act that would seem incredible to many. But for him, it was simply a manifestation of his freedom and his desire to live life to the fullest. His first big adventure was to South America. He had heard stories about remote places and vibrant cultures, and something inside him told him it was time to experience them for himself. With a backpack on his shoulders and determination in his heart, Jack embarked on a journey that would take him through the Amazon rainforest, the Andes Mountains, and the colorful cities of Brazil and Argentina. Along the way, Jack faced physical challenges. Although he was in excellent health for his age, he was not immune to the obstacles that older people might face. However, instead of seeing these obstacles as limitations, he saw them as opportunities to learn and grow. He took long walks on mountain trails, ate a healthy diet, and maintained a daily exercise routine to stay in shape. His determination to stay active was one of the keys that allowed him to travel the world at age 80. One of the most powerful moments of his trip occurred in the mountains of Peru, where he met a group of young hikers. Jack, always eager to share his stories, told them about his life and his travels, and confessed that at age 80, he felt more alive than ever. The young people were amazed to see how an older man could be so full of energy and enthusiasm for life. Jack explained to them that age was no barrier to adventure, and that the real limitation lay in each person's mindset. Inspired by his message, the young people decided to follow his example. Jack accompanied them on their hike, walking at his own pace but without losing his enthusiasm. During the hike, he shared with them his secrets for staying active, healthy, and positive. He taught them that it's not about how many years we live, but how we live them. For Jack, every step he took up the mountain was a reminder that it's never too late to follow your dreams. Jack also realized something very important during his travels: the power of curiosity. As he traveled the world, he noticed that most people stopped exploring the world as they got older. They lost their ability to learn new things, to ask questions, and to be curious about the world around them. Jack, on the other hand, never let his curiosity fade. In every new place he visited, he immersed himself completely in the local culture, learned the language, tried the food, and connected with the people. This insatiable curiosity was what kept him young, both physically and mentally. In Asia, Jack found himself in a small village in Thailand, where he spent several weeks working with locals on community projects. Despite the language barrier, Jack managed to communicate with them and earn their respect. He was excited to learn about local traditions, meditation, and the way the community took care of each other. As the days went by, Jack realized how important it was to have a purpose in life. For him, that purpose was to keep learning, exploring, and challenging himself, no matter his age. During this time, Jack also met a woman named Anna, who was 72 years old and traveling alone through Southeast Asia. Anna shared her life experiences, her struggles, and her passion for exploring the world. Despite the difficulties she faced, Anna never let her age limit her. Together, Jack and Anna shared stories, laughter, and adventures, proving that friendship and connection have no age limit. As Jack continued his journey, his health remained in excellent condition. This was no accident. Jack had followed healthy habits throughout his life: a balanced diet, regular exercise, and a positive mindset. Over the years, he learned to take care of his body and mind so that he could enjoy a full and active life. His story was living proof that if we take good care of ourselves, we can stay fit and healthy throughout our lives. The central message of Jack's story is clear. No matter how old we are, there is always time to start over, to follow our dreams, and to live life to the fullest. Old age is not an obstacle, but an opportunity to explore more, learn more, and grow more. Jack is an example that as long as we have health, curiosity, and determination, we can do anything, regardless of our age. His journey around the world not only allowed him to see new places, but also to discover a fundamental truth. Life never ceases to surprise us, and it is never too late to live with purpose. When he returned home after his long journey, Jack was no longer just an 80-year-old man who had traveled the world alone. He was now a mentor, a role model for those who thought that old age had stolen their dreams. His story inspired hundreds of people to challenge social expectations about age and live their own adventures. Jack had proven that age is not a barrier, but an opportunity to create the life we always dreamed of. Finally, Jack shared his experience with his doctor, who, surprised by his excellent health and energy, asked him what his secret was. Jack smiled and said, "The secret is to never stop living, never stop learning, and always keep an open mind to new experiences. Age is not a barrier, just a number. The real question is, what are you willing to do with the time you have left?" Jack's story teaches us a valuable lesson. It's never too late to follow your dreams. It's never too late to explore. And it's never too late to live a life full of purpose and adventure. No matter how old you are, you can always choose how to live your life. And if Jack, at 80, could travel the world alone, who's to say you can't do the same?